a 60-year-old income tax law has officially been scrapped. Starting April 1st, 2026, India has a brand new Income Tax Act, the Income Tax Act 2025. And if you are an NRI, whether you are in the US, the UK or the UAE or anywhere else, these changes directly affect you. There are new forms numbers, new section numbers, the entire TDS structure has changed, and selling property just got a lot simpler. In this video, I am going to walk you through exactly what changed, what stayed the same, and what you need to do about it. No bluff, no filter, just the things that NRIs actually need to know. Let's get into it. Let's start with what actually happened. The Income Tax Act of 1961, which had been running since 1961, 819 sections spread across 47 chapters, had been amended 65 times, has now been officially replaced in its place to the Income Tax Act 2025. The new act has 536 sections, significantly shorter and cleaner. The government's goal is simple language, easier compliance, and fewer legal disputes. Now, what does this mean for NRIs? It means that a lot of the forms you used to fill out, the section numbers you had memorized, the terminologies you were familiar with, much of that has changed. Old references won't work anymore. But, and this is important, the tax rates and basic principles are mostly the same. The structure has changed, not the core taxation philosophy. Now, before we go further, I want to make one thing very clear. Because there's a lot of panic online that everything has changed, it hasn't. The core principles of NRI taxation remains broadly the same. NRE and FCNR benefits continue, DTAA relief continues, the capital gains framework is broadly unchanged from the post-budget 2024 position, and the residency concepts, 182-day rule, the extended stay test, these remains largely the same. They have been reorganized, not rewritten. What's changed is the structure, the section numbers, the forms, and the compliance process. The substance of how NRIs are taxed has not been overhauled. Keep that in mind as we go through the rest of the video. You have always heard financial year 2025-26, assessment year 2026-7, two different terms for the same period. It was confusing, especially for NRIs who don't track the Indian tax system on a regular basis. That's done now. The new act uses a single term, tax year. Tax year 2026-27 means April 1st, 2026 to March 31st, 2027. That's it. No more FY versus AY confusions. This might seem like a smaller change, but practically it's very helpful. When you file your ITR, when you speak to your CA, when you reference any document, there's just one term now. Simplicity matters. Now we come to the biggest structural change, TDS. What did we had before? Dozens of separate TDS sections. 194C for contractors, 194J for professional fees, 194I for rent, 194H for commissions. Each one had a different rate, a different threshold, different compliance requirement. It was messy. Under the new act, everything has been consolidated into three broad sections. Section 392, this covers TDS on salary. What used to be Section 192 is now Section 392. Section 393, most non-salary TDS provisions have been consolidated under this section for both residents and non-NRI. For non-residents, that means rent, professional fees, contract payments, interest, largely brought together under one umbrella. Section 394, this covers TCS or tax collected at source, and the form have changed to Form 16, the salary TDS certificate is now Form 130. Form 27Q, the quarterly return is now Form 138. So if your employer or tenant sends you the old form, don't accept it. Confirm the new form numbers. On screen, you can see the old section numbers mapped to the new ones. Take a screenshot or save this video. This reference is going to be very useful during filing season. This change is extremely practical and will directly benefit a lot of NRIs. What used to happen when a buyer in India purchased property from an NRI? They had to deduct TDS, but to deduct TDS, they first needed to obtain a TAN, a tax deduction and collection account number. That was a separate registration process. It took time, involved paperwork, many buyers avoided it or delayed it. Now, after budget 2026, for eligible NRI property transactions covered under the new framework, the buyer doesn't need a TAN. They can simply use their PAN to generate a challan and deduct TDS. The process is faster, simple, and more buyers will comply. If you are planning to sell property in India or it's already listed, this change makes things much more convenient for your buyer and indirectly speeds up your transaction as well. Tax collected at source or TCS is a tax that kicks in when you send money out of India under LRS or for education, medical treatment or travel. Budget 2026 has significantly rationalized TCS rates. Previously, different categories had different rates, 5% here, 20% there. Now, rate across several categories have been reduced and simplified. However, this is an important clarification. It's not a flat 2% across the board. Different categories, thresholds, and exceptions still apply. So please confirm the exact rate for your specific case with your CA, or you can take help with SaveTaxs. The overall impact is this: when you send money from India abroad, whether it's for education fees, medical expenses, or travel packages, the upfront tax burden is lower than before. Your cash flow will be better. Capital gains is something a lot of NRIs ask about. Have the rate changed? Quick answer: the capital gain framework continue under the post-budget 2024 structure unless amended by a future finance act. So here's the current position. Short-term capital gains on listed equity 20%, long-term capital gains 12.5% without indexation, and under section 112A for listed equity shares and equity-oriented mutual funds there is an exemption of up to 1.25 lakh rupees. For property, if you have held it for more than 24 months, it qualifies as long term and the rate is 12.5% plus surcharge and cess. Exemptions under section 54, 54F and 54 EC are still available, and TDS requirements vary depending on the assets being sold and your residential status. So don't assume a single rate applies to everything. My suggestion: don't react to capital gains after the sale. Plan ahead, apply for Form 13 early for lower or nil TDS. Document your cost properly and check your DTAA benefits. Now the good news is that interest on NRE and FCNR accounts generally remain exempt from Indian income tax as long as you qualify as a non-resident under applicable regulations. Both accounts are fully repatriable. There is no year limit. You can transfer the entire balance abroad at any time. Compare that with NRO accounts where repatriation is capped at $1 million per year. One important point: even though the interest is exempt, NRE and FCNR interest is generally disclosed under exempt income in the return to ensure complete reporting. There's a lot of confusion online about residency rules. Many articles are claiming that 2026 brought new residency rules. Let me clarify, these rules are not new. The 182-day rule, 60-day plus 365-day test, the 15 lakh income threshold, all of these were introduced through amendments over the last few years. Now what happened is that the new Income Tax Act 2025 has cleanly reorganized and renumbered these rules. The substance is the same, the presentation is better. But if you are a high income NRI or a person of Indian origin, you should absolutely revisit your residential status under the new act. The section numbers have changed and your CA will be referencing the updated framework. So let's quickly recap. Here are your action items. 1. Confirm that your CA is using the new act sections and form numbers. Going forward, new filings and references will use the new section numbers under the Income Tax Act 2025. Second, if you are selling property, let the buyer know that a TAN is no longer required. A PAN based challan will do the job. Third, check the TCS rate for your specific remittance category with your CA. Rates have come down, but the exact number is case by case. Fourth, plan your capital gains proactively. Apply for Form 13 early. Fifth, disclose NRE and FCNR interest under exempt income in your return for complete reporting. And lastly, carefully review your residency status under the reorganized rules. If you need expert guidance for your specific situation, US tax, Indian tax, DTAA benefits, property planning, book a consultation on SaveTaxs. The link is in description. And if this video was helpful, hit the like button, share it with your NRI friends and subscribe to the channel because we bring you important updates like this regularly. Drop a comment with a word guide and I will send you the free NRI tax checklist. See you in the next video. Until then, stay compliant, stay smart.